Hello, this is Digital Accessibility, the people behind the progress. I'm Joe Walensky, the creator and host of this series. And as an accessibility professional myself, I find it very interesting as to how others have found their way into this profession. So let's meet one of those people right now and hear about their journey. All right, well, here we go with another episode where I have the great opportunity to speak with another accessibility practitioner. And today I'm talking with Amanda Powell. Hello, Amanda, how are you?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
It's a pretty good day. I'm at my home office on Vashon Island, which is near Blink's headquarters in Seattle. Where are you talking to us from?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia on the East Coast. I guess
All right. Well, welcome. It's always good to have visits from people in different time zones. I'm happy to be able to have the chance to chat with you today. You have an interesting background, and one of the things that I think is interesting is that accessibility as was originally just one part of what you're involved in, and it's more and more becomes something that you work with. So maybe a good place to start is just tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now.
Yeah. So I'm a senior UX designer at Target at the moment. So I do a lot of stuff where it's focused on more the experience design. It'll rather be content strategy, assisting research in any needs that they might have, or designing capabilities right now. So I've done the multicultural work like Masqué, Black Beyond Measure, and right now I'm transferring over to more like product visualization work.
Well, it sounds like you cover a lot of different parts of UX. What is kind of a day in the life or a week in the life for you with respect to those things, or is it always different every week?
I feel like it's different every week. I feel like our team kind of operates like an agency. So different campaigns come up to us like, hey, we really need some XD support. Can you hop onto this campaign? And the campaigns, they can last for a couple months unless it's something longer like holiday or Halloween. And then I do a lot of initiatives at Target. So like UGC stuff, that's what I work on, and that's user generated content for those who don't know. And then also Innovation Week, and that's kind of like a hackathon that we're doing at Target. So I help plan all the like nitty gritty details to help set that up.
Well, I think I might want to ask you a little bit more about your current work, but one of the things I always like to do is find out how people learned about accessibility and then started to make that a part of their profession. So where did it start for you?
So about 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune inflammatory disorder. Basically, that just means that I have chronic inflammation throughout my body, and it shows up in random flares. And unfortunately, well, it depends on how you look at it, but it affects my eyes. So I have chronic uveitis, which is just chronic inflammation. And one treatment that we do is steroid injections, but that caused cataracts. So I have astigmatism, the inflammation, and then the cataracts. So my vision is very wonky, and I can't, some days is better than others, depending on the steroids or the surgeries that I have. So I had to find workarounds because I needed a job and continue working in my field. So I started using assistive technology like voiceover or the zoom in function, making all my backgrounds in dark mode to help with that stigmatism. And that's where I first got started. And then I was like, I am sure that I can't be the only person in my workplace who has this. How can I implement this in my team and in my designs? And it came really apparent to me when we were having a design crit on my previous job. And I was like, hey, I really can't read the text. Like, you have a light gray background and a dark gray text. It's very difficult. And their response was, well, it's ADA compliant. And I was like, well, that's not good enough. That shouldn't be, the ceiling. You should try to go above the bar. And that's what really pushed me to make not only my designs more accessible, but the workplace as well. And I translate that over to my current role at Target by like hosting presentations on how to make your presentations more accessible, or making a guide sheet for my team about, hey, can you send me a PDF version of the presentation or whatever you're going to go over in the meeting, so I don't have to always interrupt and be like, hey, can you zoom in, or can you use a black background and white text, because that contrast really helps with my vision. Or even recording the Zooms and sending over a transcript, that really helps as well, or not having too much text on the on each slide, because when I zoom in, I only see half of the screen. So if it's line by line, like filling up the whole slide, it's really difficult. So just those small things. And then also partnering with our accessibility team, and they've been teaching me their trainings that they give out to the teams to try to help me prepare for my CPAC exam. I know that was a lot.
Yeah, no, you cover a lot of things there, but I wanted to kind of move backwards in time a little bit, because, well, first of all, I appreciate you sharing your physical challenges, and I'm sure that was a lot to take in your live life. But just thinking about you yourself as a person, an employee that suddenly encounters this situation, separate from being an accessibility professional. I mean, what was that like, that experience? I imagine that you already had some you were comfortable with technology, and so that might have made it a little bit easier. But I mean, kind of what was it like just being a person that had to figure out the workplace with with this new reality?
I would say in the beginning it was very difficult. I was worried about how I would be perceived at work, or I thought it would hinder my chances of getting a job. It wasn't until that incidents with the comment about like, well, it being ADA compliant, that's the like final straw where I was like, this is enough. Like, I'm already voicing my needs. They're not being met about like sending the PDF beforehand or making the presentations accessible. So that's when I was like, I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm gonna learn what I can, and I'm gonna speak out about my experience, because sometimes it just takes somebody physically seeing somebody or knowing someone to make that connection for them. So that's kind of what sparked it all.
Well, yeah, I appreciate how hard that can be, because you're just trying to get your work done, yet you want to be have a equitable opportunity to do that. So I imagine it was very frustrating early on.
Yeah. Thankfully now I think I think everything happens for a reason. When it comes to my illness, I've taken that one small incident, and it's inspired me to start giving talks or speaking at colleges on how they can get into accessibility, or how can they incorporate that in their designs. So I think even though it was a very frustrating experience, it turned into something very impactful and kind of beautiful.
Well, yeah, and I think that's how I first encountered was from something that you had published or posted, and so then you mentioned you were doing more and more of this informally, and then found your way into the accessibility activities at your organization. So what was that like? Is that when you suddenly realized that there was a profession there of people that just do this, or kind of what was your experience as you started to get into it more deeply?
Um, one big reason on why I even wanted to join Target, because they have a disability and mental health business council. So one, I didn't feel alone, and then I got to meet other disabled employees and hearing their stories and their experiences, and I feel like that really fueled me to continue the work. Or I would try to incorporate it in ways in my work. Like, for example, is they're very strict on their research protocols, which makes sense. It's a large company. So it's like, what are the protocols in place for pooling our disabled guests? And like, oh, we don't have anything, or we can't find anything, or people just kind of, it was like kind of ad hoc. So that also was an opportunity for me to be like, okay, how can I deep dive and talk to the right people? And how can we kind of figure that out? Like a best practice type of thing, so other people can incorporate it in their work.
And you mentioned you were working toward the CPAC, which is one of the certifications by the IAAP, and so good luck with that. But how has it been going in terms of your own like education and training about accessibility? Has it been resources at work or going out on your own online to find information, or what's that been like?
It's been a combination of everything. Resources at work. One of the consultants I have a partnership with on my team, he has his own individual trainings that he runs through with me, but also I utilize DQ's course prep. It's only like $25, so that was really affordable for me, and it's self-paced too, which I liked, and it lasts for about a year to help prep for the exam. So that one has been my biggest resource. Before I discovered DQ, though, I was just finding any articles I can find, any like ally groups. We have a meetup here in Atlanta, connecting with people who I saw had the CPAC certification. And so connecting with them on LinkedIn, asking their advice. They've included me in some like study groups or shared their previous notes. So definitely LinkedIn's community has helped a lot too.
And now your work at Target, is it more formalized in terms of the accessibility work that you do? Is there a team that covers the whole organization or just individual parts of it, or kind of are you able to talk about how it's set up?
I don't know all of the ins and out of it. We definitely have a team, and each team member works on different parts or they'll collaborate on certain projects. And then we have one member on the team who oversees my whole department of Target Creative. And he'll just see, like, if we need any help, he'll tell us what to do. But I've made my own connection where we meet bi-weekly, and he kind of just runs through things that I can learn, or presentations that he's made, or cheat sheets, so I can practice on my own time, and then we get together and we kind of talk about how I ran through it, and if there's anything like, oh, don't forget this, kind of like a, I don't know, kind of like a mentorship, I would say.
Well, I mean, you have this experience already with it being something from your lived life yeah, as a challenge, and then you've also embraced enjoying the accessibility work. Do you have any thoughts, about the future? Are there any things that you're particularly interested or excited in pursuing, or things you want to learn more about?
Definitely the Web3 space, and having those conversations of what accessibility looks like in Web3, especially in the metaverse space. So starting those conversations have been very exciting, and trying to figure out, okay, how can we, make it as accessible as possible? Do we have headset and like the controls shake, or do we have auditory cues in that experience? Or when our designs, like not having anything flashy or not having anything too distracting, because if people have ADHD or brain fog or epilepsy, any of those type of things. So we're trying to work through all the possibilities for the full spectrum of accessibility.
Well, it sounds pretty exciting, and it's been great to have this chance to talk to you. Have you been to any conferences related to accessibility yet?
No, I feel like I haven't been to a conference since pre-COVID, and I
Mhm.
kind of miss the space. It's just hard because it's usually like jam-packed during the workday, but I would love if I can like have a list of the sessions beforehand. I can kind of pick and choose.
All right. Yeah. Well, the CSUN conference in Anaheim in March was the first one I went to after 2.5 years of COVID. So, maybe we'll meet up at a physical event at some point.
Yeah, that'll be great. I feel like I should start looking into that. I didn't
All
even
right.
know like accessibility focused conferences.
Thanks a lot, Amanda.
No problem. Thanks for having me.